most people at the moment are more photography-based and videography-based operators over maybe people that worry about ISO and things like that from a surveying perspective? Or do you think it's sort of creeping up and it's starting to become a little bit more even across the board that surveyors and other inspectors kind of need to really understand how cameras work, and they do need to hone in, I guess, in that skill set of operations of a camera sensor over just doing their surveying job?
Definitely. Best way to examine, like as Sean was kind of saying, when you're in manual mode, you have complete control over the camera, and you're right, with single shot photography stuff, that will come in handy a lot. But you can also rely on the auto a fair bit. But coming into sort of surveying and asset inspection and things like that, all these skills and settings are still extremely useful, because a good example that I've dealt with a little bit over the last little while, particularly doing photogrammetry side of things. For those of you at home who don't know what photogrammetry is, it's essentially 3D modeling and mapping. But when you're flying over roofs and you're trying to do those, and particularly like a color bond stainless roof, they're highly reflective, and they come up really, really bright under sunlight. So when you're trying to capture those to create a 3D model, essentially, it becomes too bright. The imagery can't be stitched. If you're just shooting in auto and you're not modifying your settings to allow for that, you'll just end up, particularly if it's a light coloured roof, with a bright white coloured beam that is the roof, and everything else around it will be perfectly exposed. You don't want that. So you need to be able to adjust your settings on site, whether that be or your ISO aperture or your shutter speed. They all play a part, but you need to be able to readjust those to capture things at the right exposure for them to work. When I started doing a bit of this stuff, I never really concepted so much of my photography skills coming over to really save my butt in the drone world. And I think that's a big misconception from a lot of people, that, you know, if you can fly the things, you can do everything.
It's just one part of it.
So not true.
Yeah. Just understanding how the aperture, shutter speed and ISO all, work together. Say even for just a general photographer, if you're flying towards whatever you're trying to photograph, if you're flying too fast towards them and you shoot in auto, that shutter speed might be too slow, which we'll talk about in a second, and the whole image will just be completely blurry. You're better off having complete control of what you're shooting, 100%. So you know what results you're going to get, not, hey, trust the camera.
Yeah.